I'm a CEO and founder of a sales and marketing consultancy, so I know that it's extremely crucial for me to build my personal brand on social media. But I was sick and tired of the daily content hamster wheel and posting every single day. So I created a system that only takes like 2 hours per week, or either actually less than 8 hours per month for me to create a month worth of content. So if you want to know how it works, feel free to steal this approach for yourself. So there's 7 steps in this process, and it starts by brainstorming and ideation phase, which should take around 1 hour. So I create a dedicated file for this month's content, and I always like copy paste the same template, and I just like name it differently, like July 30 days of content 2025 or something like that. And I also actually have a different document for written content, and this document that I'm now showing is for Instagram videos. So this is specifically done for those reels. So I gather inspiration from different channels like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like I just go and see what is working right now. What kind of hooks are people using? If I see something that I like, I might just add it here to the document. And I also start looking by looking at my best performing previous posts, because then I can like see what I want to repost the next month, or like what posts that I could recreate also in a different way, for example, to make them even like better. And one thing that I really like to do is to look into our sales team's call like notes, and like what kind of problems are people having at the moment, like our ideal clients, what kind of problems I could solve already, or break down limiting beliefs that our ideal clients have. I just list all the problems there, so that I already have this huge brain dump where I can start with the content creation. And I have these prompts type of questions for myself. And for example, what have you learned from using your method? How you can talk about your method in your marketing? Because you every single month you learn something new, you work with new clients, and there's always something that you can add to it. And sometimes there's might be not so much stuff, but I like to have it in my system so that I know like how I'm going to think about the content, because the content is always about serving, like help your ideal clients. Like I'm only there to serve people, not to create the content for my colleagues or peers. So this part 2 is about concepting and just drafting. So I write out 30 content ideas for short, like here for short talking videos. In this part, it shouldn't be perfect. You just like write out the ideas. And I think it's easier to do it systematically, that you just like write down all the ideas first before perfecting them or editing them at in any way. And then I use ChatGPT to draft and optimize the copywriting. So then I might take this content to ChatGPT, prompt and ask it to like edit, create it in a better copywriting way and copywriting rules. But this content that I now get from ChatGPT isn't the one that I'm going to publish. But then I actually take the content from ChatGPT back to this document, and I will still edit it myself. So that is going to be the next phase. And with the videos, actually, like I only write down the hook and then I just improvise the rest. Like if you aren't natural in that way, creating videos, then you might need to add some bullet points, or I sometimes use bullet points so that I know like if there's 3 steps or 2 things or something like that, write some notes here what I want to do. And I also have created these different groups: regular videos, green screen videos, CTA reels, so that I know that it's like I need to create 10 of these or whatever. The rest 10 are going to be reposted videos. So I will actually then look for the link, download, or like just look for the old video to then repost. And the content production also is quite streamlined. So I film all videos in one go. So different types of reels. And with the CTA reels, I mean this kind of like 3-second, 7-second videos where I only use like B-roll video and then I add the hook in the video. So I'm not going to film those B-roll videos here. So I only actually then need to create 10 videos. So it's like even easier now. So because you're only creating like 10 new videos, the rest will be CTA videos with the B-roll and then 10 reposted videos. There is this great tool, Opus Clip, that can effectively cut and really create quite good reels from your long form videos. So this content creation will take more time the first round, I would say, but gets faster with repetition. I have ready written captions that I just add some of this. Like I just reuse and circle these same captions in my all reels. And this is working so well. Like I used this same system for a year. Now we actually have a copywriter in our team, so there's more variety, but I'm not writing the copy there. But when I was doing everything on my own, I just used the same captions that had been proven to work and to bring in leads to our business. So filming the content, adding the captions and subtitles, and with the subtitles I use an app called Captions or Descript, an AI editor, and I've actually found that the best captions that I have been some things that our copywriters have written for paid ads. So those have been made to be something that convert leads. So I've just found them working so well. And yeah, so the last thing is scheduling the content for the next 30 days. So batch schedule all 30 posts for the next 30 days. And I would block time in your calendar for the next content creation day already after scheduling. And I don't even use any scheduling tools. I just use the internal like tools that Instagram, for example, has. I think all the platforms nowadays have scheduling in them. And always also use this time to review the analytics to identify the best performing posts from previous month. I would do it actually in the ideation phase, but just a reminder because that is in my notes and it's important. And the majority of the next month's content should be based on what worked best. Because once you start doing this, it's just about repetition. Like I think I was someone who was constantly trying to come up with the new ideas for content. But then I just realized I had this aha moment last year when I realized that I actually can post the same exact stuff. Even though I would create something new, it would be pretty much similar that has worked before. Like I don't need to come up with totally new contents. And that is, I think, what will save most of your time. And the delegation, because I have the 6th and 7th part on my notes here, that you can start by doing this process yourself and learn it fully. And also iterate it and make it your own. If there's a better way, if you don't want to do the green screen videos, if you don't want to do the like CTA reels, like then you can do different types of videos or content. And I also use this for LinkedIn in text version. It's just like I don't film the video, so it's actually even faster. It takes a few hours less. And gradually you can delegate. First, what I would delegate is the scheduling and posting. So first you would still do the content, and then potentially the captions and editing. Because the captions, that is the easy part. If you have the document ready, you can have someone else like just adding the captions, adding the hooks that you've written to the B-roll content. And eventually you may only need to show up on camera. Your team and assistant can handle all the rest. And that is actually what we did. And with that, at the end of the day, I only needed to do 10 videos in a month. So it would even not be 8 hours in a month. It would be a couple of hours of maybe preparing ideation and then coming up with the ideas, and then just an hour to film the 10 videos, or 2 hours. It depends on how natural you are on camera. And then the seventh thing is the iteration and optimization. So include a small portion of brand new experimental content each month, approximately 10 to 20%. Those, because you're reposting, you're recreating the work, like what's worked well, but of course you need to see what kind of other things you might find working really well for yourself. So I would always try out a little bit something new, but not everything. And constantly track what performs best. I would even have it your sales team asking on the calls, like, what triggered you to book the call, for example. So that is how you will find out what works the best. And double down on formats and topics that deliver results. The most important thing, of course. If you want this document for yourself, I actually created this out to our clients. DM me the word 30 days and I will have my ManyChat automation sending you this document link to this document to your inbox.